Hello everyone from the Chang circuit, where the Thai round of the Moto3 Championship is about to start. The weather is great and the temperature is perfect for racing, so we're just waiting to find out which riders have opted for hard tyres and which riders have opted for soft. We're live from the starting grid, where the cameras are lingering on the favourite riders for today. A few minutes to go and finally the spectacle will begin.
Hello and welcome to another video, and today, as you can see, we're on Motogp 18 once again, and we are here for another episode of the Crutchlow career mode. Now, if you have been keeping up with the series and you have seen the last episode, you will know that we last time extended our lead in the championship to 107 points, which means we can wrap up the World Championship today in Thailand. Obviously, that would mean there's 4 races after this. Obviously, there's the Japanese Grand Prix, the Australian Grand Prix, the Malaysian Grand Prix, the Valencian Grand Prix, and that is obviously 4 races. 25 points is the maximum someone can get, so that means there's no mathematical way Dovizioso can win the championship if we finish within 6 points of him. We were looking at Crutchlow for quite a long time there. Not really sure why I'd left it that long in the clips, but there you go. I hadn't actually checked that, which is a bit stupid of me, but it's just one of those things that happen sometimes. But yeah, that's how it's looking at the top of the table. But if we move a bit further down, Marquez and Viñales are quite close. It's for 3rd and 4th. Marquez on 202 points and Viñales on 192. So only 10 points in it there with them. Rossi's another 20 points back off them, but he's in a very secure position because he's got almost 60 points over Lorenzo behind him. So Rossi's pretty much consolidated that P5 in the championship. P3 and 4, they can still be pretty close, and Dobby's got a 42 point lead over Marquez, so again I would say that it's pretty close. Obviously Dobby could have a bit of a disastrous end to the season, but I doubt it, so I assume he's probably secure there. Top rookie is 9th, Jean Mir. He's struggled a bit in the last couple of races, but he has now got over 100 points, so that's good for him. He might have already had that previously. I haven't really been looking at his tally too closely, if I'm totally honest. Moving on to the constructors, though, I'd say it's tight at the top, but not really. Yamaha seem to be just extending their lead slightly every race. They are now 14 points ahead of me in 2nd on LCR and Honda Castrol. Obviously, I only have 1 rider in my team. 3rd mission winner Ducati, and they're about 11 points behind us. Or behind me, because it's just me and the team. 4th place is Repsol Honda. They're about 22 points away from Ducati, so it seems quite spread out here, but it's easier to make up 22 points when you have 2 riders.
The warm-up lap has just finished, and the riders have taken their places on the starting grid. The Thai Grand Prix is about to start.
Yes, the Thai Grand Prix. This could be not the finale of the series, but this could be where the championship is decided in Thailand. The lights are on. We're waiting for the lights to go out. Lights on, away we go. Got a bit of a mediocre start there. You can see Nakagami's getting away. Same with Abraham, and we're closing up to Oliveira. I think there's on the inside a bit. Going wide through turn 1. The AR go quite slow. Cut back up the inside. Past Nakagami, past Abraham, past Spagro, past Oliveira, past Siren. We go to the right hand side of Morbidelli as well. We're going to outdrive Morbidelli before we get to the end of end of the straight. Not quite past Morbidelli. Siren's looking back up the inside, but we're having a look up the inside of Morbidelli now. Up the inside of Morbidelli. Oh no, him and Rabat have gone round there. So a bit of contact with Morbidelli, past Rabat. Getting the drive. Are we going to get past Pekka Bagnaia here? Viñales, that is down in P13. So I'm not sure what's happened to him, but we've got past Bagnaia now. Now it's Jean Mir, top rookie in front of us. Oh, the bike snapped. We're going around the outside of a few of the riders there. We're now in front of Viñales. So Viñales has had an awful start. Bit of contact with Fabio Quartararo there. So that's put us back behind. Oh, contact with Mir. So Mir trying to get back up the inside again. We're down to 14th place, so we've not really had a good sequence of corners there. Oh, we've been hit by Bagnaia as well. They are being very aggressive in this race. We're past Mir now. We're now behind a Spagro. Got the sort of a Spagro, a bit aggressive there. So we are really trying to push this way through here. And yeah, Viñales not doing well here. He's he's trying to get the inside to P10, I think, of Petrucci, and obviously Quartararo as well. Flicking it left through turn 10 there. We're on the outside of Spagro. We've overtaken him now. You see lots of the Argos. So they've done that weave thing as well. So we've passed a lot of riders. I think Marquez is one of them there. You see Rins behind us now as we hit the brakes. We're in 6th position now. Oh, Zarco's gone wide, and so has Miller. But they come back on the track's contact. There's a screen freeze there, and Marquez has been collected in that as well. And Miller's crashed, Zarco's crashed, and Marquez has just managed to stay on the bike, I think, by the looks of that. But we will have a look at a replay. We're on board with Marquez. You can see Zarco bumps the inside curb, runs him and Miller wide, and they just swerve back onto the track. And unfortunately, Marquez gets caught up on the bike, but very lucky not to crash, and then very lucky not to hit Petrucci as well and fall off. We're on board with Zarco. Now you can see he just completely cuts the corner, sends it so hot, just takes poor Miller out, but they both just swerve back onto the racing line. Miller hits me, he hits Marquez, and down they both go. So pretty bad riding there by both of them, but mostly Zarco, since he's the one that cut the corner in the first place to take them both wide. You can see me in the background there. Miller just swerves back on, clips into his high sides, and almost takes that Quartararo there. So not really, not really what you want on board with. I think it's Quartararo on board with now. He's behind Iannone. He gets on the inside of Iannone. He hits Rins a bit there, to be fair. A massive high side there for Miller, but he just gets through it. He did actually hit the bike, but he got through. And that's put Spagro up into P5, I think. So that's pretty good for him. That's going to have saved Vinales for sure, because he was wallowing down in P10. And with a few of those getting held up, well, he's still in P10 by the looks of it, actually, so never mind. But some of the good riders, such as Marquez and Zarco, are now not in front of him anymore, so he's not got to pass them. But meanwhile, we're closing up to the back of Lorenzo. We're going to slipstream with him already. We're going to have a look. You can see Dovizioso is leading. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to keep the championship fight alive. Up the inside of Lorenzo we go into turn 4, but it looks like we have missed the apex quite a bit. They're getting on the throttle. Lorenzo looks like he's coming back. Lorenzo back up the inside again, but we're trying to sweep around the outside through turn 5. Have we got the move done on Lorenzo now? Yes, I think we have. So it's the Doctor next for 6. Well, we were 6/10 behind him. We're definitely right behind him now. Flicking the bike back over for the right hand of turn 7 on the throttles early as we can. We're going to try and go around the outside of the Doctor. But we've gone from 6/10 behind to making a move in just about a corner. Around the outside of Rossi we go. Through turn 8, we've ran a bit too hot, bumping up the curb and bumping back onto the track a bit. We've had to leave him space there. Didn't want to turn into him, but we are coming towards the AI weakness corner where they just slow down and swerve, just like they did last lap. So I'm staying far as I can over to the right. Yes, Rossi swerves, Dovizioso swerves, up into first position there. It's a bit of a shame that it's so exploitable. I mean, perhaps I could lift, make it a bit more fair, but Dovi's coming back. Bit of contact with Dovi there. I ran a bit wide and then sort of turned in back on him. So I was criticising Zarco and Miller for doing that, but I didn't come totally from off track like they did. But Spagro is still holding that P5 there. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen. So pretty good for Spagro. Down the straight we come now. You can see pulling to the right-hand side. I think that is Dovizioso trying to have another look up the inside, hitting the brakes at the end of the straight. Is Dovi going to have a go? Him and Rossi seem to have both gone a bit wide. They're trying to get the cut back. Near one of them getting on the throttle. And Vinales is now to 5th all of a sudden, so he's just made a massive place. And Quartararo's up to 5th, so Quartararo's having a hell of a race there in 5th place on that Petronas bike. He's him and Morbidelli have been struggling quite a bit in this season, but pretty good for him. Obviously, in real life they're not having any difficulties really, but in the game they have been struggling quite a bit. Obviously, that's just mainly because of it's not really moddable, the rider performance, so it's a bit off. So I apologise for that. Obviously I did make the sort of performance mod to try and fix it a little bit, but to no avail really. It just didn't really work that well. But through turn 9, Dovizioso is now 1.5 seconds behind, or 1.4, nearly 1.5. So we are looking good for this championship right now, because we only have to finish, well, within 6 points of him, and we're actually beating him currently, which is more than we need to do. So we just had to have to have over 100-point lead, because he can't topple the amount of race wins we've had in 4 races. Obviously, because we've won every race up to this point, so he can't topple that. So even if we tied on points with him, he can't do anything. But we did set the fastest lap of the race there on lap 3 of the race, and you can see on the minimap we are bolting away now, as we have done so often this year. Obviously, there has been a few races such as Brno and Misano where it's not quite been so simple. Same with Catalonia as well. We only took the lead on the last lap there, really. Obviously, same with Austria as well. We made that mistake on the last lap after getting a bit of a lead, and obviously we had to overtake at the last corner. I've just seen Paulo Spagro has now dropped down to 10th position, unfortunately, but Marquez is making his way back through. Zarco's just overtook Siren, but we've gone really wide through turn 4 there. A little lapse of concentration, and obviously also, as I've said quite a few times, I'm not too familiar with the Honda. I mean, you think I would be by now, but I don't use it outside of these videos, so it's just these like 6-lap races or whatever. They're not even all 6 laps. I think Malaysia is only going to be 4 laps in a couple of episodes' time, so that one's probably going to be quite short. So it would be interesting if the AI were good there to see if I could get through, but I know that I probably will be able to. Although I haven't recorded it yet, so you don't know. Down towards the last corner we go, hitting the brakes into turn 12. We ran really wide into turn 12. Out of turn 12 we go though. It's not the best exit. What's the lap time going to be? It's 27.4. Not horrendous, but we're on to the penultimate lap off the race now, and it has been going pretty quick. Obviously, we have been dominating these last couple of laps, and we are sprinting away from the AI here. But I saw that Quattararo was still sitting in a good position there, which is definitely going to be good for Petronas in the championship. I think they're in a bit of a battle with KTM, but I'm not 100% sure. Could be wrong. I did look at the constructor standings before this started, and I've still forgotten. So there you go. So how good of a memory I've got. Well, it's actually not too bad, but I wasn't paying attention to the constructors, like sort of where Petronas were. So that's why. Through turn 4, we're a bit conservative that lap, obviously, compared to last time. We overshot. Didn't want to do the same thing again into turn 5 now. Ran a bit wide. Not too many turns at this track, really. It seems like there is, but I think it's just quite a short track. Like, it's only like a 1:27 lap, isn't it? So, obviously, I think the straight is the bulk of the lap, really. And then this sort of stadium section, there are quite a lot of corners, but it's meant the main section, really, of the track. It's just a couple of long straights. Obviously, there's another one in a second. We flick it through turn 10, and then the flick through turn 11. There's quite a big straight down towards 12 then. Under the PTT sign, you can see. I usually brake just after that white section there and the curbs to try and get a stop for the turn 12. Out of turn 12, first gear corner, up towards the line. Lap time 27.8, so we have dropped off a little bit, but obviously that can be accounted and taken it a little bit easy. And we did run over the curb at one point. Dovi's second, Rossi still third, Lorenzo's fourth. Vinales is now up to fifth, so pretty much normal order, obviously. Then, other than actually, Lorenzo's not usually up on the podium, so it's be nice to see him up there. Well, he's actually not on the podium, as you have just realised. He's third out of the AI, but I'm leading the race, so he's not on the podium. But he's not usually up there fighting for a podium. Although I think Rossi and Dovi have probably gapped him a little bit, to be fair. Down this long straight now, though. Yeah, exactly. These two straights parallel to each other at Thailand. Obviously, probably Ducati's really favourite circuit of all these straights. Although, to be fair, they didn't actually didn't win, did they, last year? Marquez managed to win the race, so you never know. I'm sure they'll probably win this year, Ducati, through turn 7, although I'll probably eat my words by the end of the season. Underneath the Tissot sign, braking for turn 8, running a bit wide through turn 8, but nothing too bad. Over the curb again, just like the previous lap, and we're coming to the end of this race pretty rapidly now. Luckily I haven't run out of things to say yet, which is good. That's always the worry when you lead a race from quite early on. It's a nice worry that you don't have enough things to talk about. But we're coming down towards the last corner now, hitting the brakes at the curb after the white bit, like I said before. Out of turn 12 we go, trying to do a little bit of a wheelie, doing a wheelie up towards the line. Sort of just dropped the front wheel a little bit at the end there, but this game is not the easiest to wheelie on, that's for sure. We're cutting onto the sort of race winning overtake now. You can see sort of how far behind I came from if you're on board Dovi there, and now we're on board with me. You can see there's Rossi in front, through there, Rossi goes slow, Dovi goes slow, and I've got the throttle full open as they're like braking, which is why you can close so much.
Let's take a look at the final ranking of today's race.
So in the end then we won by 7.5 seconds and seal the Riders' Championship. I sort of forgot to say that as we went over the line, but yes, in fact we do. I don't think there's any notification that pops up saying that, but obviously we do know we have over 100 point lead, 4 races to go, so that's it, champion. Third place of Valentino Rossi there, so that's going to help him in his championship charge against Vinales. Lorenzo ended up fourth, probably one of his better finishes of the year there, a bit distant from Rossi, and Vinales probably would have caught him if there was a couple more laps. Marquez recovering to 6th after that crash, 7th for Rins, good return to form for him, 8th for Quattararo, 9th for Mir, Danilo Petrucci 10th, Iannone 11th, 12th and 13th for the two Pramat boys, obviously with Bagnaia and Miller. 14th and 15th for Zarco and Espargaro. So Espargaro really dropped from the lofty ice to 5th there in the end at 15th place. Tito Rabat in 16th, Miguel Oliveira in 17th. But yeah, we've got 2x2 here with the 2 Pramacs and the 2 KTMs, and then the 2 Tech 3s as well. 18th for Siren, 19th for Espargaro, 20th for Abram, 21st for Morbidelli, and 22nd for Nakagami. Once again, he's been really struggling this year with the bike. Obviously he's got the 2018 Honda, we have the 2019 Honda. Well, in the game it's the 2017 one he's got, but basically, you know how it would be played out. Obviously that's confirming it once again. We have a 112 point lead with 4 races to go, which means we are the world champion. We now have a 163 point lead over Marquez in 3rd place. 4th place for Vinales. He's been caught up by Rossi quite a bit there. Obviously after Rossi had quite a good performance then, he struggled a little bit. Obviously wasn't too good off the start, and then, you know, he did make a comeback, but it was a bit too late. 6th for Lorenzo, 7th for Zarco, 8th for Miller, 9th for Mir. I said those two the wrong way around. 8th for Mir, 9th for Miller. 10th for Petrucci, 11th for Zarco, 12th for Iannone, 13th for Polisbago, 14th for Bagnaia. Quartararo moves up after that pretty good performance into 15th place in the championship with 20 points now. 17 points still for Rabati, moves down in the championship. 18th for Nakagami, obviously after those 2 points he scored, I just missed the other Espargaro in 17th there with 4 points. Oliveira with 2 points in 19th. And the non-scorers are Morbidelli, Siren and Abraham. So struggling a bit there. But what I was going to say was Lorenzo is definitely pulling away from that sort of little group where they've been quite close for most of the race. Constructors the same as normal, as you can see. They haven't really changed for most of the season really, because just Ducati have been a bit more consistent. The Yamaha and Honda have obviously been the most consistent. We now fall to 16 points away from these guys, and that's looking increasingly impossible to overthrow them. Obviously Ducati close up to us by 1 point as well. That's the thing. Obviously with one bike it's really difficult to make the inroads in. 4th place for Repsol Honda there. Still, you know, just as per usual, they are now. I think they've dropped a bit further away from Ducati there. I don't remember the points exactly, but they seem to have dropped a bit further away. Still 5th for Suzuki, 6th for Red Bull KTM, 7th for Pramac, 8th for Aprilia, and Real Avintia moved behind Petronas Yamaha after obviously Quartararo and Rabat swapped. 11th there for Indomitsu LCR Honda, so still not bottom of the table. And then bottom of the table, KTM with 2 points, Red Bull Tech 3 KTM. But I hope you have enjoyed that race. We are the champions at last, but I will continue this series, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to be ending it prematurely because of that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this race. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you in the next video.
These days, the podium is extremely valuable. Motogp has never had so many competitive riders at the same time. Today, they were at their best, and they deserve to celebrate. The level of the championship is only getting better. Consistent results seem to be the secret to a good season.